Hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl. Yes, Miss Michelle Allen Franklin. Yes, honey. Mrs. Michelle D.I.Y. You know, boo, for divine intervention, because there are no coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl gonna give you the good information, boo. The things you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions, honey. And y'all know all month long, it is the month of March. It is Women's History Month. And your girl has been bringing you a phenomenal, amazing woman each and every day that has empowered and inspired my journey. And this beautiful spirit right here. Miss Anna is an amazing, phenomenal woman. I'm telling you, when we listen and hear her story, honey, you're gonna understand and know why. Anna Boo, how you doing? How you doing
I'm
today?
I'm doing so good, and I tell you what, you're already inspiring me. Just the positivity. I've been loving your podcast. It's really been helping me too.
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank you so much. I feel like, just being obedient to the spirit.
mhm.
And I said, the Lord blessed me with this voice. My voice is my gift. And when I realized that, I said, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? Oh my goodness, Lord, you want me to talk about that? What you say? You want me to talk about this too? Oh, okay. Look, okay. So
I
I
like the way you're
do.
doing that.
Yes, I do. I pride myself in having, the unnecessary, but the uncomfortable but necessary conversations that you need to have with yourself, because I didn't know that I had so much stuff, you know what I mean, stuck inside of me. So when I started getting intentional about my healing journey, I was like, okay, I don't believe God is a just because God. I don't believe he gave it to me just because. He gave it to me because he knew I would share. And I wouldn't be ashamed or embarrassed about the journey, no matter what it looked like. And so
hmm
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you for that feedback. It always helps. People don't understand how much, just a little feedback and knowing I'm out here doing this and I know I'm walking in my purpose, but to hear that it's helping, that gives me fuel to keep going. So thank you. Thank you for that, boo.
Oh, you're welcome. No, there's always somebody who needs to hear it. That's one thing that I'm learning because I've also um, been through that process where I'm really taking a deep dive on my spiritual journey
Yeah.
and healing journey
Hmm.
because it's been a long time. And, there was a long time that I wanted to avoid things and I didn't want to face my fears. I didn't want to face my anger
Yes.
and a lot of things that I buried inside because of, trauma,
Yes.
um, things that I've been through that I fought my way through and survived. And
Yes.
now, just like you, God gave me a voice as well.
Yes. Yes.
And outside of doing the work that I'm doing right now, I'm a singer songwriter as well.
Oh,
Um, so in the past, I've had the joy of being able to sing in front of people. And
mm,
what's wonderful about that is when you're on stage and you're in that moment where you're singing and people are connecting with you.
yes.
It's when I used to get off the stage, it was like the walls and the barriers were just down.
Yes.
And people would want to talk to me and wouldn't be afraid to share their life stories. And now that, I haven't really done much as a performing art, um, but now God has led me in a different direction. Now I'm starting to really get out there and share my testimony.
Yes.
And I went through a long period of isolation.
Hmm.
Um, for a couple of years, I actually had um, really bad PTSD
Yeah.
and agoraphobia. I couldn't leave my house,
Hmm.
and um, it just got to a point where my fear and my unresolved issues,
Yes.
um, because my story. started from about the time I was 3 years old. Um, I grew up in church. I grew up um, in a very spiritual family. However, I was abused in the church.
Wow.
That's where like the first history of sexual abuse started for me. Um, Things that were done to me as a child that I remember, and all the way up into my 20s and even my early 30s.
Yeah.
Um, just constant. It felt like a vicious cycle where I would break out of one and go into another.
Mm-hmm.
And each time I've held on to that spirit inside of me that's like, no, I'm better than this,
Yes.
and I know I'm meant for more, and I
Yes.
know that once God leads me through this darkness, through this wilderness that I'm going through,
Yes.
I'm I'm going to do something amazing on the other side.
Yes, you are.
And so that's what this journey has been. And there was a period of time where I was very deep in alcoholism. That was
Mm-hmm.
my that was my crutch. That was
Yeah.
my escape. Because it was easier to go into a bottle
Surely. Surely.
and then dismiss anything that would happen because of me doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had something else to blame it on. I
Yeah.
just avoided the problem. And now, after going through so much, I've been homeless.
Yeah.
Um, by the grace of God, I have a place now where I am living with my best friend. I don't have transportation, but I at least have a roof over my head. I'm
Mm-hmm.
safe,
Yep.
and I'm rebuilding.
Yes.
And it feels
Yes.
like the 20th or 30th time that I'm rebuilding over and over again. Um, but the way that I'm seeing God restructure,
Yes.
um, I'm feeling peace, something
Yes.
I haven't had in a long time. I don't feel that fear. I am able to get out in public, and I met you through
Yes.
the organization that I work for now. That we're a nonprofit, Smith County Clubhouse here in Tyler, Texas,
Yes.
and we help people who are living with mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a passion that's close to my heart, is helping others.
Yes. Yes. You know what? It is just amazing the way I always say the foundation of reflection shoes and me is Romans 8:28. And that is for me the good and the bad and the crazy is all it's all working together. You know what I mean? And it's a conscious decision and a conscious choice of how you look at life and how you look at the things that you've had to go through. I want to go back a little bit because your journey is so extensive. Like you said, we met and I was speaking. I had a speaking engagement and you came up afterwards. I love people like you to just come up afterwards and say your story helped me. Again, it gives me wings, it strengthens my wings to take flight. But as you were talking, I was like, oh my goodness, your story, I gotta have you on. You inspiring me. Like this is just your journey. So I want to go back a little bit and talk to because somebody out there has endured some church hurt and what you experience. I mean, church hurt seems minimal to say, but you know somebody out there is like, how does she go through that and still is talking about God? You know what I mean? Like, it's confusing to some people. Like, what is that about? So how did you get through that healing journey of all of that and still maintain your love from God? Like you said, I'm sure you had some anger at some period of point
Oh
in
yes,
time, you
a
know?
lot of anger.
Yeah.
Um, that there, and I realized, because for a long time I always believed, oh no, I don't get angry. I'm not an
Hmm.
angry I'm the nice girl. I'm the sweet person. But in reality, I was just pushing it so far down.
Yes.
that one day, it, for a couple of years, it was just like constant, like I would just be triggered and rage would hit me.
Yeah.
Um, but the thing is, I still to this day, I'm working on that. I have a disconnect with church
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, of the abuse that I went
Right.
through and some of the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to differentiate what was, what was church and uh, human,
The four
human
walls
behavior.
of, yeah, the
Yeah.
four walls of a church, right?
Um, and what is actually God.
Yes.
And I have been so fortunate. There's some things that I've been able to do because of God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to speak out and talk about what happened to me. Um, justice was never served on my end, but
Wow.
that doesn't mean that I stopped trying
Yeah.
because there is other people who are going through this too. And I think church specifically, the particular church that I went to was it was a Pentecostal church,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very much the the fire and brimstone type
Mm.
church. They taught like there was always the fear of if you do this you're going to go to hell. There was always that looming darkness
Sure.
in the church, and I noticed the particular church that I was in tried to influence people in the
Mm.
direction of fear, like even to the point of telling people how to vote. And I remember being in church and thinking things like that were wrong.
Yeah.
And um, so as I got older and I learned um, the fear mongering that was happening to me,
Yes.
the people who were telling me, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about our feelings. Um, don't say what happened to you, or else your family is going to get hurt. You
Wow.
know, you get the shame. Um, and I remember there was a period of disconnect even in my own family because I had somebody in my family that was abusing me too.
Wow.
Um,
I'm so
and
sorry, honey.
I was told that I was seeking attention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and when I was younger, um, I did go through a lot of rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I started to dress a little bit more provocatively because sex was the way that people expressed love to me.
Yeah.
In my head at that
Yeah.
time. And when I got that kind of attention, I was getting the love that I was so starved for.
Yeah.
And some of my family kind of distanced themselves from me,
Mm-hmm.
and it really hurt me.
Yeah.
It really made me feel unworthy
Yes.
and unlovable because if your own family won't stick by you,
Surely.
then it makes you feel that you're not worth anything.
Yeah.
And over the years, I met people who helped me really not feel fear, people that I could trust and people that I could talk to,
Yes.
friends that became family. And, God would send me different people at different times in
Yes.
my life that
Yes.
would just give me the strength to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I got older and I started getting into, abusive codependent relationships,
Mm-hmm.
God helped me, I believe, my faith and just how adamant I am about doing something good in this world and wanting better, not just for me, but for everyone.
Yes.
Um, I was given the escape route. I was given the keys to the prison that I was trapped in for so long,
Yes. Yes.
and I didn't believe it when people would tell me, nobody's ever going to want you because, you're used up, you're no good, you're
Wow.
trash. Um and the biggest breakthrough for me was whenever I started getting into music, and I like rock and metal.
Hmm. Okay.
I think that was part of my rebellion,
Yeah.
like I wanted to go the other way for a while.
Hmm.
But when I started doing music, I had this. Um, I was just so adamant about the fact that whenever I got into music and I wanted to be seen as a singer, as a musician,
Hmm.
I would go to concerts and I would go to these events by myself and I would network with these musicians that with this scene that I wanted to be a part of, and I would always tell myself, you're always the musician, never the groupie. So anytime I'd walk into a place I was doing music, it was like a business mindset.
Yes.
I was there to make a name for myself. I just wanted people to see me and respect me, um, and understand that the reason that I was there doing music, I never wanted to make money off of my music. I wanted to use it as a means of reaching people and
Yeah.
healing people.
Yeah.
And I'm an intellect, so I go really deep into music. I go into the science behind it, and you know, talking about frequencies. Like we
Yes. Yes.
have our own personal frequencies,
Healing
and that's like,
frequencies. Yes.
and that fascinates me. I want to use what I know and put it into a song and use my voice as a means of almost shouting to the world,
Yes.
just this healing energy.
I
That's
love
what I
that.
wanted, and I miss those moments when I was on stage and somebody would cry and I'd reach out my hand and we would just hold hands in that moment. And when people would sing with me, it was just this that spiritual connection that music
Yes.
does.
Yes.
There's
Yes. Music
nothing
is
in the world.
powerful. Music
Yes.
is very, very powerful. And I'm gonna try to look this up really quickly because I want to say this. I want to this person's name when you say frequency because I started studying frequency a couple of years ago and
Hmm.
not understanding what is his name. Let me see healing frequency
Oh,
because
I don't know.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
started I started using I started sleeping with frequency healing frequencies because I started learning about just the power of music and different frequencies and the energy,
Yes,
and the peace that it brings to your spirit. I can't find the name. I'll post it. I guess later I'll link it to this. But I started studying this man's work. I can't believe I can't think of the name now, but I'm I'm lack of sleep and going on all this stuff. Y'all don't understand what your girl has done to bring this together. But nevertheless, it's fine. I'll say his name later. But um, but yes, it is so much power in music and in
hmm
the layers and being intentional. And it's so much so that, when you think about the negative way that they use music, like record producers
yes,
have literally, record labels and things are very intentional about using the negative music to negatively affect you and control people and different things. That's how
yes,
powerful it is. That's how powerful it is. But just like it could be used negative, it can be used very positively, like you're speaking. And
yes.
so I love that. I love that.
Well, I go because I'm such a nerd. I really am. Like study, I study about the since I'm a singer, I study about the voice and
Yeah.
like the different styles of singing. Like I do tend to like harsh vocals too,
Mhm.
and I've seen some pretty amazing vocal research that people have done. Actually, there's this girl I love. She does this thing, the charismatic voice. She's an
Mm.
opera singer, but she studies the science behind the voice, and she's doing like this research right now that's actually going to help with um, studies towards cancer
Wow.
and
Yeah.
the healing power of music. But
Yes.
there's something I also want to link to you as well. Talking about frequency, well, we all have our own unique frequency. So whenever we're in a room with somebody,
Mhm.
when you say you can sense a vibe,
Yes. Yes.
that's because yes, whenever you're around somebody, we all emit our own personal frequency,
Yes.
and depending on where you're at, if you're on to me, I try to view my journey as I'm on a path of ascension. So
Yes.
I'm looking for ways to elevate my frequency because I know that I exist right now here in this realm,
Yeah.
but I am going to rise to what I believe is heaven,
Yes.
and I'm trying to make a pathway towards that. There's this really fascinating uh, experiment that was done with water molecules,
Mhm.
and I will send you a video about this because it's fascinating.
Okay.
By Dr. Emoto. He
Mhm.
did a water molecule experiment where he exposed molecules to music
Yes.
and words of positivity and words of negativity. And these molecules, when they were exposed to positive words or negative words, um, when it was something positive, the molecules form these beautiful, unique shapes, just like snowflakes.
Wow.
And when it was exposed to negative content, the molecules were all misshapen, deformed,
Wow.
and it just goes to show you,
That's
when
powerful.
we're talking about sound, when we're talking
Yes.
about frequencies, we don't realize that we have so much power in our words.
Mhm.
We can literally, because us as humans, we're made up mostly of water.
Yes.
So whenever you speak to another person, think
Mhm.
about these water molecules that you're speaking to in their body. And
Yeah.
whenever you're speaking that positivity and that kindness, you're literally changing the chemical makeup, not
Yes.
just in you, but every living thing around you.
Yes.
And so just learning just learning those really neat things, um, I've been more mindful about how I speak to people.
Mhm.
Um,
That's
that
good.
rage that used to come out, I do live with some of the guilt of things that I've said to people because and there was times I'd go into drunken rages and I'd say things to people,
Yeah.
um, and I think about how I impacted them,
Mhm.
and I think about the times that the same things were done to me and how it affected me
Yes.
physiologically and psychologically,
Yes.
mentally, emotionally.
Yes.
And I've tried to form a balance and find a way. Um, every day that I wake up with a attitude of gratitude,
Yes.
um, with a hopeful heart. I say my prayers. I pray all the time. It's
Yeah.
it's constant. And I think about these sciences and these things that I've studied, and I try to find a way to just make a positive impact to the next person that I speak to, just by saying something nice. Even on
I
the
love
street,
that.
I'm not I'm not scared to meet people.
Yeah.
I've never met a stranger,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to compliment. If a girl's looking like really cute, you can tell she
Yes.
did her hair, her makeup.
Yes.
I will step out of my way just to let her know.
Me
You
too.
know,
I know. I love that.
like
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with lifting somebody else up, you know what I mean? Especially another but I'm like, "Yes, girl, you doing it, yes."
absolutely.
Yes,
But
yes, yes. I love that. Honey, I've been on this intentional healing journey for some years now. And my big sister Maisha, she's the one who taught me that we are energetic. We're human beings having an energetic experience. We're energetic beings having a human experience. We're energetic beings having a human experience. And we're all energy. And just like you said, we are made up of 80% water. And so would it make sense, that your emotions and how you're feeling, those frequencies make a difference. I know myself, especially when I know that I'm not in the best mood, when I was feeling snappy, because like you, I would, say things and lash out. And there's certain people, of course, I lash out a little bit more at than maybe somebody else. But now that I know that I was doing that and I know why I was doing it now, so I have better control. But if I know I'm in a mood, you know what I mean? I know that I'm upset about some things. I try not to even go around people because I know that my energy and my frequency is low. Or
mhm,
if you have offended me in a way, and I don't I'm very intentional about my words and knowing myself and how I am. And I know if you say something out of the way to me, I might not be able to hold this. I will just stay away from you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I just tend to back away because I'm like, my energy is not good. You know what I mean? I'm on a low frequency with this right now. And I think that that's human, that's human with us, but knowing yourself and knowing and doing the work to adjust that. Do I need to go deal with some forgiveness? Am I having some unforgiveness to somebody? Am I having some anger? Why is that? And processing it and figuring it out and being able to come back, and so that's just all that's a part of being, the human experience, but not using it as an excuse to, I call it slicing and dicing, because I would
yeah.
dice it with my words.
I'm listen. I'm the same way. I'm the kind of person that I retain information that sometimes people don't realize I retain. Just because well, for one thing, I'm passionate about learning about another person in general.
Yeah.
That I learn your love language,
Hmm.
but I also retain information of things that are off, and in those moments of anger,
Yeah.
I find the one thing that I know is going to be the I shoot to kill,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't like that. That is
Yeah.
something I've had to really learn about myself, and it's something that I know I don't like about myself.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I want to carry with me. I do know that we grow and we evolve, and this is
Yes.
something that I've actively been working on because I do not want it to. I don't want it to carry with me through life.
Well,
Um,
I think that's a protection mechanism, you know what I mean, that you've developed because you think about your journey and the trauma that you've endured. You know what I
yes,
mean? You have to develop some way or something, even if you couldn't protect yourself. And this is what I found, even if I couldn't protect myself against these things over here, these things that I had no control over that might have been happening, but I had control over this over here. So things that I had control over, I'm slicing and dicing. I'm all the way in
hmm,
protective mode. I'm in survival mode. I'm in all of the things. And
right.
so it's just something that happens. And so give yourself some grace in that. You know what I mean? And just, acknowledge it. Yes, do we need to fix it? We do. But
Hmm.
understand, you didn't just become this person just because. You know what I mean?
And I do know that too. And
Yeah.
it's been, I mean, it's been over 30 years of trauma that I've had to process and
Well,
unpack, and
yeah.
I do have that understanding and that wherewithal about myself. I was gonna say something and then I totally forgot. Normal. But yeah, I don't. Um, I actually a big thing that I'm going through right now is I'm finally starting to get back into the public
Mm-hmm.
and um, work with people with different mental illnesses and different needs.
Yes.
And because of what I've been through, I do have this great adaptability that I can pretty much gauge where a person's at and meet them on their level.
Yeah.
Um, so that's very helpful. That's been a gift that God
Yeah.
has given me. I can
Yeah.
actually sense when I'm in an environment. Um, if somebody has intent to harm me, I can tell body language. I'm very good at reading people.
Yes.
I can tell when something bad's about to happen. And I've completely stopped dating. Um, I've cut down the relationships in my life so that
Mm-hmm.
I can focus on this healing. And I think God is finally starting to put me in this place because I told you the other day about my Uber driver, Miss Sylvia,
Yes.
and these people are coming into my life, and God's starting to open these doors
Yes.
for me to talk to people in such an open and vulnerable way
Yeah.
that I'm starting to see the light and the path forward, and that there's great potential for me.
Yes.
And it's going to be a lonely journey, but I feel like once I do the work, it will be very rewarding.
Yes.
And
It definitely is. And I promise you, it is rewarding. What is on the other side of the unknown? Um, is amazing. Lisa Meta and I, another beautiful spirit that helped me along my healing journey. We just talked about this. It is, you don't know what's down there. It's scary. And a lot of times people do not heal because they don't want to go down there. They're too afraid to even take a
right,
look and just start walking that direction. But I promise you, what is down there in the unknown, and the getting to know yourself, and the getting to know, why do I do the things that I do? Why am I so angry? Why do I respond like that? Why do I snap? Why did I do that? Asking yourself and getting to know, and not running from the answer, not blaming yourself, right? Not, oh my God, I was stupid. I shouldn't have been in that situation. I felt I didn't talk about my sexual assault for a long time because for years. And when I looked at it, it was because I was like, well, you shouldn't have opened the door. Like, what'd you think? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I was blaming myself for all these things. How was I supposed to know the man was going to come over there and do that? I didn't know he was going to do that. You know what I mean?
right,
But in my
I,
head,
yeah,
I was processing it like, well, you shouldn't have let him in, and you shouldn't have done this, and all of that noise, and that guilt of it all was in there. And so, when you release all of that, shame and guilt, I call them the twins, honey. They will hold you hostage. You
absolutely.
know what I mean? And understanding, you said something very important earlier, that you have the key. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know that you have locked yourself up with the anxiety, with the depression, with the whatever it is that you are, struggling with. You've locked yourself in that box. You got the key to open it. You went in there. It's like you went into a cage, closed the door, and then you sitting there waiting for somebody else to come open the door. Boo, you got the key.
Oh,
You have
exactly.
the key. You know, it is. And when you realize that, like, oh, what you say? It said, I got to go deep, deep down in the pit of my belly because, like you said, we're stuffing all these things down. So
Yep.
you got to go down off in there, figure out what's in there, go through that journey, but it's in there. You got the key, boo. Go find it.
Yeah,
Go find.
I've had to uproot a lot of weeds to get back to like what I consider my Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Um, it's I. for as much pain as I've been through, um, and the things I didn't share with you were I've had 6 suicide attempts,
Wow, honey.
and there were two attempts that somebody else made on my life. So surviving all of that
Oh,
and
gee.
coming out on the other side, and God is just he's coming to me, and I have very vivid dreams. I believe that I've seen heaven. I believe that I've been there. I've met people. Um, I've seen the promises that are waiting for me,
Yeah.
and those are the things that keep me getting up every day, even though I'm not in my ideal situation right now. But at least I'm not in a place where somebody is hurting me every day. Nobody's
Yeah.
putting their hands on me.
Yes.
Um, I'm not being told I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not being made to feel like I'm less than. Um, I'm starting to feel the community. I'm starting to feel the uplifting.
Yes.
Um, it's really easy to get stuck in the negative because you know the
Hmm.
world around us right now is in a really negative place,
Yes.
and I actually I purposely avoid watching the news, and I have my social media set up in such a way I only have artists. I follow artists um, for my own mental health,
Yes.
you know, because I don't want to get discouraged again. I don't want to go back down that path. I don't want to go to a path of darkness.
Yeah.
Um, there's you take it one day at a time,
Hmm.
and you know when I come to this job in particular, this working with this nonprofit really has helped me in such a huge way. Um, because I know I'm able to get up and help somebody else who needs help with housing. They need help with a resume, finding a job.
Yeah.
Um, I'm able to help somebody better their life, and in turn, I'm going to be able to do that for myself as well. Um, and I don't know what every day is going to bring because
Yeah.
I've been through so much and I've seen so many amazing things too. And I've been very blessed with, you know, I've been on the radio. Um, I've gotten to do some pretty amazing things in music in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like I am respected in my music community,
Hmm.
um, and that's something that really means something to me. That's something that gives me purpose. The people that are in my life every single day, the people I interact with in
Yeah.
public on social media,
Yeah.
it they all impact me. Everybody, all I want to do is go out into the world and somehow, some way, make it a better place.
Yes.
Is by being there. I think it was Gandhi that said, "Whatever you do in this world will be insignificant, but it's important that you do it."
Wow.
So that's
I
what
love that.
I that's what I wake up doing. It may
Yeah.
seem insignificant, but one day when I'm in heaven and God's showing me this big, beautiful, grand picture that He's been painting this whole time, He's going to show me every stroke. He's going to show me every detail
That's
of
beautiful.
love that He put in, not just my life, but I believe He's going to show me my friends. I believe He's going to show me, um, like weaving a tapestry,
Yeah.
how we all came together and how we all brought each other to this
Yes.
beautiful place.
All
And
intertwined. Oh, that's
he
beautiful.
he prepares tables, banquets for all of us.
Yeah.
You know, we all have our place in his kingdom,
Yes.
and I believe we even have our own kingdoms. You know, it's just it's all in how you build yourself. It's all in how you build other people,
Yes.
um, and it's not giving up.
I love that.
So
I love it. I love it. When you and I met, the journey The journey for each and every woman has just been, it's like, oh my gosh, like none of the women that I've talked to look like what they've been through. Now, what I know
Mhm.
for sure is the demonic spirit of suicide.
Yes.
All these demonic entities and spirits that have been after you, the purpose and the work that you had to do in this world. Nobody's mad but that devil. Like nobody's mad but him, honey. And he very strategically has tried to stop you and mess with your mind. And I'm so happy. Because right now, you have kicked his butt, honey. You have kicked his butt and all of that spiritual warfare. You have fought the fight and you are on the other side. You are, you're in the journey, of course, because it never ends, but you have won some battles. You have won some battles, and that's amazing. That
And
is amazing.
I tell people, and I know some people have a hard time believing it, and that's okay. Everybody's spiritual journey is different. But I
Hmm.
actually have this diary that I wrote. It started out as a suicide letter.
Wow.
Um, it was letters to everybody that I love,
Oh my goodness.
telling them goodbye, begging God for mercy on my soul, like all these things. Um, I didn't die, and it's amazing because I'm smart enough. I did it in such a way I knew I should have died. I should have died.
Wow.
um, but I have faced demons, and I have the ones that I was able to find their names. I've written down the names.
Yeah.
Um, and I've asked God to, bind that spirit. I do believe at one point I had a stronghold over me,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I called this wonderful, amazing lady. Her name's Lisa Carol Pulliam. I called her and I was like, she was the first person that came to mind. I was like, there's a stronghold over me, and
Yes.
I need this bond broken.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty heavy and it's pulling me down deep. Um, and she did. She called somebody else, and we all prayed. She held my hand, um, and that was a really powerful moment
Yeah.
because I finally felt it. It's kind of like going through your whole life, feeling this weight that you don't know where it's coming from.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
pulling you, and
Yes.
it's a dark place that you don't want to go to. And it finally just got to the point I was like, I need help, and I
Yes.
called the strongest spiritual mentor that I knew, and I believe that day that bond was broken. But I have a list of all the demons' names that I met um, on my journey,
Hmm.
and have prayed to God that all that spiritual warfare that I went through,
Yes.
that it saved somebody else. Like, let me have faced that demon, and
Yes.
let me have slayed that demon,
Yes.
so
I love it.
somebody else doesn't have to feel that
Ah,
that darkness, that fear, that hopelessness.
yes.
And
Yes.
so
Hopelessness.
I'm very grateful. I'm still here today. I made it.
Yes.
um,
Yes, you
still
are.
going.
And look how beautiful you are, honey. And you're laughing and smiling, honey. Yes, honey. Yes, you are here. Look, yes,
Well,
you
so
are
are
here. You
you.
conquer you. Yes, you are here. Demon Slayer, you. Yes, you are here. Yes, you are. I love
Yeah,
it.
just go ahead and put that. Go ahead and put that on my title, on a Valor Demon Slayer.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I love it because that's how I come up with the titles. I listen to the podcast and I'm like, oh yeah, and then the Lord gives me something. So good. I bet you I will. I bet you I
Well, it's so funny because I grew up. I
will.
watched Xena, Warrior Princess. So
Yes.
I think about that, and my name is Anna, and of course Disney came out with Frozen, and they had Princess
Yes.
Anna. So
Yes.
I think about that. I'm like, okay, God made me a warrior princess.
Yes, he did.
That's what I am. I'm a warrior princess, and one day when the time is right, whenever I've done what He's asked of me, He's gonna hand me the keys to my kingdom and call me
Mm,
queen.
that's beautiful,
And
honey.
I await that day.
I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. I want to share. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want to share
I
really
know.
quickly with the people because you told me that you didn't come out of the house for a period of time. And I
Mhm.
want you to just share that journey really quickly. One, how did that even start? And then how did you come out of it?
So, um, I had gone through. I've had a couple breakdowns. The significant psychological breakdowns where I've had to get professional help.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm pro getting help. Like I've never been against asking for help. I've gotten a lot of help. Uh, but it just got to this point where I was being triggered and I would just go into these places where I would isolate and it's just like this paralyzing fear
Yeah.
would come over me and whenever I would step outside, I wasn't safe. Nowhere
Mm,
was safe. Um it it mainly started um I was kidnapped and held against my will um
Jesus.
when I think it was about 21 or 22. And this person almost killed me. Uh, he he repeatedly raped me. He beat
Oh,
me,
honey.
and I thought that was it. That was the end of my life. Um, and so for a long time, I was able to escape. Um, but it's like sometimes you go into a period of shock and things don't hit you right away.
Yeah.
They say whenever you have a car accident, sometimes you don't feel
Yes.
uh, anything's wrong until later. Well, that's what happened. All these traumas started. Um, all these traumas started.
Yeah. Hitting you at once. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I, yeah, I just it got to the point I couldn't leave my house anymore.
Wow.
Um, and I was scared to go outside. Like even the feeling of the sun on my skin,
Wow.
it was just like I can't go out there. There's something out there. And then
Yeah.
that was a big time when I was going through my alcoholism and the demonic spirits.
Oh,
That was my period of isolation
oh my gosh, them
where I
demons.
was fighting all of that at once. So that's that's why I believe God needed me to take that time. And it was a lot of praying, it was a lot of crying, it was a lot of professional help. It was a lot
Yeah.
of um, just trying to figure it out, just trying to figure out how I could get back to the Anna that I know myself to be.
Yes.
Because I was going through an identity crisis too. Um, just not knowing who I was, not knowing where I fit, not knowing why God even wanted me in this world. And so that's what happened there.
Oof.
It was it took a long time and then slowly, like, because people gave me so much grace over time, I was kind of able to, as I could,
Yeah.
just slowly get back out into the world. But I thrive in social settings, so I wanted to go back into the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about the different types of therapy, and therapy is not all created equal. And so when we were there, when I was there with you, we talked about cognitive behavioral therapy. We talked about EMDR, um,
Yes,
and those are healing modalities for people that have been through trauma. Those are the healing modalities that was used with me, and that's how I know that they work. And I even found out about them. And so I had no idea, it's different layers and different types of therapists and all of the things. So, you just don't know that if you're not, in that world. You think all this, well, I went to therapy and it didn't work. Well, you probably didn't have the right type of therapist, boo. And so you need people
Yeah.
that specialize. And so what did that journey out of that look like for you with all of this? Was it, what did you do exactly that you felt safe now to come outside?
Um, well, honestly, it was a lot of talking it out with people,
Mhm.
having that the period of isolation because there was a time when I couldn't talk to anybody. I had to I had to disconnect from everyone and everything,
Mhm.
and I would reach out every now and then and be like, "Hey, I'm okay. Things are fine." Um, but it was just people extending me grace. I guess is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
Um, People giving me the freedom to allow me to deal with things in a way that wasn't just me being stuck in a survival mode. Like I actually want to heal. You know, I
Yes.
wanted to get out. I wanted to be
Yes.
back out in the world because I want to travel the world. I want to do so much with my life. Um, and it was just that. It was, uh, getting the professional help, having people that actually allowed me to isolate and do what I needed to do and provided
Yes.
a safe space for me.
Yes.
Um, and then just slowly, whenever I was ready, going out into the world and reintroducing myself to positive environments and
Yes.
um, positive things that would help me.
Yeah.
Because I want to grow,
Yeah.
I want to bloom.
Yes. Yes.
So
I think that is, honey, that's beautiful. I think all that you have endured. I mean, I've been saying prayers the whole time that I'm sitting here because I'm just like, and I'm
mhm.
grateful. I'm grateful that you're on the other side of this and you're out, finding your way into light and helping people. Because I could just imagine in all that you've endured, the darker days that you
Yeah,
probably thought were never gonna be over, and you're into some light now, and you're
yes,
outside.
and I'm grateful. I'm
You
so
know,
grateful.
yes, 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 yes. Ah,
So anybody who listens
that is
to this,
amazing.
that's one thing that I want anybody who's struggling to leave that situation or who's stuck in that cycle of darkness or abuse.
Hmm.
If you really want out, you can get out. You
Yes,
just have to you just have to keep finding that positive thing every day that pushes you forward and that eventually you get strong enough to walk out the door or you get
yes,
strong enough to leave and you don't look back and you find a good support system. The support
yes.
system is everything. Making sure that you have that. So I know we're like really close to time.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We're wrapping up. We're wrapping up. So, I've been asking all the phenomenal, amazing women, look, conquering women.
Yeah,
Um, the last question, the name of the series is called Lessons and Blessings. And so, throughout your
love it.
journey and all that you've endured, what would you say is the greatest lesson that you can share with other women? It could be one or more than one, but the the greatest lessons that you've learned along your journey?
Um, well, one big one is knowledge is power.
Mm,
If if you know, if you can educate yourself, find resources, especially when it comes to um, human behaviors. If you educate yourself on um, things that you're running into in your life, like whenever I was getting all this help, this mental health help, um, I educated myself about different disorders and different characteristics of everything.
yeah.
I did have a really good psychiatrist that helped me with identifying my own personal behaviors. Um, but if you're armed with the knowledge of what you're facing,
Yes.
then you will have it's like an armor that you put on
Mm,
yourself
that's good.
that will protect you. And of course, uh, staying in the Word, because
Yes.
we all know, write those words on the tablet of your heart. Um, go into that. God arms us with a sword, and the sword is the Word.
Yes.
Using that and not losing hope and keeping that spirit alive, and knowing that in all those moments when you're agonizing, what you can do is you can educate yourself. You
Yes.
can educate yourself about what you're facing and give yourself the ammunition to battle it and fight it and conquer it. And God's with you through every part of that process. And as you're being beautifully broken, He's piecing you back together with
Yes.
abundance, with love and
Yes.
hope, and so much
Yes.
hope. Carry that little
Yes.
mustard seed of faith with you wherever you go, and he's, you're gonna bloom.
I
God's
love it.
gonna plant you, and you're gonna grow.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Another young lady, Sharice Myers, I interviewed. She talked about she started carrying mustard seeds around. She said she was
I
like,
have a mustard seed necklace that I used to. It keeps breaking though, so. But I actually really have to go.
okay. Oh, look, me too. That's my alarm. I gotta go to
Yep.
work to the next thing. But thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for your transparency and for your story. I appreciate you so
Well, thank
much, honey.
you. So,
Thank you.
and anybody watching this, you're welcome to come to me if you ever just want to talk one on one to somebody. I am an advocate for anybody who just needs hope.
I love that. Anybody just need hope. That's beautiful, honey. That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Thank you
Well, thank
again.
you so
Okay.
much, people.
All right.
All right, take care.
All right. Bye bye. Honey, is your heart full? Do you feel inspired and empowered by this beautiful spirit story? We both are pressed for time. We're rushing. I'm videoing and taping in between and gotta go to work and everything. And she stayed after work or at her job to, record today. I love how everyone is just, working it out and going through their schedules and piecing me in and taking some time to share their journey with you. I don't believe God is just because God, I don't know who needed all of that. When her and I talked, she didn't tell me all of those things, but I know that God is not a just because God. And so somebody out there needed an example today. Somebody out there is going through and enduring some of the things that she may have shared today, right? Know that she is living proof, honey. And that's why I'm doing this because I want you to have examples, not talking about this is my law for work, not talking about um, or seeing people that are quote unquote superstars that are human too, but are out of your reach. No, I'm talking to everyday people because very intentionally, honey, because I want you to know and have the example if she did it, all that she's endured, what are you enduring that you don't have to? What are you enduring that you can make a plan? What are you enduring that you feel like and you talked yourself into that you're stuck in, right? She talked about the addiction of alcoholism. I know about that. I wasn't in it for a long period of time, but I know about that. And I was separated from my husband, baby. I tell this story all the time, baby. I was drinking. Beyonce, I was drinking. I was drinking. Baby, I was drinking. Yeah, your girl, but yeah, yeah, me, yeah, me. I was drinking. I was drinking. I was drinking. Yeah, I was drinking, babe. Yeah. The guy at the party said, "What you want?" I said, "What you got?" Yeah, that's where I was, but didn't even care what it was. What you got? Drunk the whole thing. Oh, that was good. Let me have another one. That's pain, you know, when you're in a space where you don't even care. It's pain. And understanding and knowing that we've all been there. We've all been through some darkness, right? We've all been through. We've all been through some darkness. We all are trying to make it through some light. And so I need you to understand that you don't have to stay there, right? That is the point and the purpose for you to know that you don't have to stay there. Well, family, it is Women's History Month. So join me tomorrow and I'll have another amazing, beautiful, conquering spirit to share with you, honey. I'm doing this every day for the month of March. It's your girl. Y'all know how I do. I aspire to inspire until I expire, honey. That's what I'm doing. What you doing? You better get up out that stuck place, boo. You ain't got to stay there. I see y'all tomorrow.